truth. In my arms is only proof. Hidden my heart behind the bedroom door. Now it's open, I can do no more. Tell you, baby, you'll never find another girl in this heart of mine. Look into my eyes, can you see the robe and white? Would I lie to you, baby? Would I lie to you? Don't you know it's true? There is no one else but you. Would I lie to you, baby? Yeah. Into my eyes, can you see the robe and white? Would I lie to you, baby? Would I lie to you? Don't you know it's true? There is no one else but you. Would I lie to you, baby? Yeah. Everybody wants a history. On every page a mystery. You can read my diary on every line. Your smile is never satisfied. Tell you, baby, you will never find another girl. It's all of mine. Look into my eyes, can you see the robe and white? Would I lie to you, baby? Would I lie to you? Don't you know it's true? There is no one else but you. Would I lie to you, baby? Yeah. You wanna see me now?
The youth of the world. We call a press conference, they pull us out. Delegado dos Estados Unidos.
We were not demonstrating. This is how the youth are treated here.
Ahí están los derechos del humano, ¿cierto? ¿Dónde están los derechos?
Tell you, baby, you'll never find another girl. This heart of mine, this heart of mine, baby, in my heart. Look into my eyes, can you see the robe and white? Would I lie to you, baby? Would I lie to you? Don't you know it's true? There is no one else but you. Would I lie to you, baby? Yeah.
Deal. I've got some globes you can warm.
Do your part and wipe out a ton of CO2 at home this year. Then write the president. Tell him to go to the Earth Summit and sign a treaty that will stop global warming. Save energy at home.
And tell President Bush to stop the gas.
Every day in every country, exhaust fumes from motor cars spew greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. This could lead to ruined crops, rising sea levels. Entire countries could disappear. At the United Nations Earth Summit, world leaders will discuss ways to prevent such disasters.
All people want to live in a safe environment, yet every day cars and factories pollute the air. Sewage and waste is dumped into rivers and oceans. At the United Nations Earth Summit, world leaders will discuss ways to curb pollution without hindering economic progress.
Weapon you can use to fight global warming. Recycle 1 aluminum can a day and you'll eliminate 140 pounds of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere each year. And if you're in a party mood, recycle a six-pack.
Do your part and wipe out a ton of CO2 at home this year. Then write the president. Tell him to go to the Earth Summit and sign a treaty that will stop global warming.
Is there anybody listening?
Save energy at home and tell President Bush to stop the gas.
And David Rockefeller. Mr. Rockefeller is the chairman of the Americas Society and its affiliate organization, the Council of the Americas. Mr. Rockefeller's address is titled An Agenda for the Future. An Agenda for the Future.
An agenda for the future. For the future.
As you all know, he's active still in numerous business and not-for-profit projects, engaged in a broad range of international, governmental, philanthropic, civic, and cultural affairs, especially public-private partnerships in many areas have been one of his long-term interests. As Purdy pointed out, he has been coming to Latin America since 46 unofficially and since 48 officially. And as you know, after he retired from Chase as chairman after a 35-year career, he's continuing to travel Latin America and the rest of the world as chairman of the International Advisory Board of Chase. He is the founder of the Trilateral Commission, an organization designed to promote understanding and cooperation among the nations of North America, Western Europe, and Japan. He served as 15 years as chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. He was instrumental in the formation of the International Service Corps, Executive Service Corps, a group from the private sector which provides technical and managerial assistance to private enterprises in developing countries. This morning, we put in a lot of hard work. We listened to those involved in shaping the trade issues of the Western Hemisphere. Yesterday, we had 7 working groups. The outcome of the working groups we'll discuss this afternoon. The question now, after we heard the morning speakers, where do we go from here? I think David will now give us some of his ideas about the future of the hemisphere, and it is really for me a very great personal pleasure to present to you David Rockefeller, who I admire greatly and with whom I've been so closely associated for the last 7 years.
Thank you very much, George, and thank you all very much for your wonderful support. I have to say it's with a profound sense of fulfillment that I address you here today. When we first proposed this forum 3 years ago, I spoke about the positive trends in the hemisphere, and there were many of them, from the triumph of democracy throughout Central and South America to the genuine interest, as symbolized by President Bush's Enterprise of the Americas initiative, that had begun to motivate the foreign policy of the United States. I said then that we were on the cusp of a new era of cooperation, a new era of hope and opportunity for the peoples of the Americas. But while some accused me of being too optimistic, our dreams then, as hopeful as they were, fell far short of real achievements in the intervening years. In this brief period, we have witnessed in Latin America a revolution of profound meaning and consequence, a peaceful, silent revolution, even more basic than the return to democracy, which was essential but not sufficient. The people of this hemisphere changed something more important than their governments. They changed their minds. They brought into power, into intellectual dominance, a new leadership of ideas. And those ideas all begin with the word free. Free markets, free investment, free trade. The more closely countries have embraced these ideas, the more rapid their progress has been. I can well imagine that when we turn our eyes from the bright hopes of the future to the practical problems of today, that the task before us may indeed seem daunting. But we should consider also that this is not a typical decade. What was impossible just a few short years ago is now both a reality and an opportunity waiting to be grasped. More than a century and a half ago, at another turning point in history, Simón Bolívar, speaking of another revolution, said, "The veil has now been torn asunder. We have already seen the light, and it's not our desire to be thrust back into the darkness." No, we will not be thrust back. We will not return to doing business as usual. And I'm convinced that it is the people here today, you and your colleagues at home, who will make the difference. who will lead their nations into that light, the future of progress that shines so brightly before us. Thank you. They changed their minds.
They changed their minds.
The people of this hemisphere changed something more important than their governments. They changed their minds.